Hi everyone, my name is Dawn and I'm representing our group for community journalism. I happen to work for the Wednesday Journal, so community journalism is near and dear to my heart. And Caroline is from Germany and she worked for the largest public television station in Germany. Dan is a village trustee of Oak Park. And I remember Dan saying to me the first day we came together, I can't imagine what would happen to our community if we lost the Wednesday Journal. So we all have a passion for how community journalism connects us and keeps us informed. As we were talking about what we could do as a class project, we kind of honed in on keeping the community informed about events. And that led us to a discussion of how we don't have one comprehensive community calendar here in the area. We have many organizations that are trying their best to create a comprehensive community calendar. They're all doing a great job with community calendars. Many of them are providing their very stretched thin resources to keep up their calendars. We've got the communities using Facebook, of course. We have the Village of Oak Park, Visit Oak Park, the Chamber of Commerce, the library. The Wednesday Journal, sadly, a few years ago, stopped printing their community calendar because they were funding a salary for someone to compile the calendar every week, and then pages and pages of print, none of which was funded. So we decided to work on a comprehensive community calendar that would be centralized, would be comprehensive, would be user-friendly for everyone from children through seniors, and would address the fact that there are limited resources. That led us to create Dan's brilliant 365. It's a community calendar app that is centralized, comprehensive, and user-friendly, and it will benefit the hosts, so anyone from individuals to organizations hosting events in the community, users who want to be informed about events, residents, small businesses, visitors, and the community at large.
Hello, I'm Caroline. And you should all have a little paper phone now in your hands, which you can look at now. This is how it should look like. The app we thought about should, first of all, you look at the sorting. You can look, find events, first of all, through the date. There's categories that include food and music events or garage sales and all sorts of different categories. You can choose by city to find your area, your neighborhood, and it says location, something like the wire or the library and stuff like that. And the detail will tell you what the event is like. That feature is, first of all, like how to find something. Once something catches your attention, you can just hit the little plus button to add it to your calendar. And the app should also remember your choices to give you remind you on similar events or events that just happen repeatedly. So the app also has buttons on the bottom. Accounts coming next. So first I want to talk about the activity. So again, it records or basically remembers your activities, and also you can go back if you find something interesting and want to look back at it. It tracks what you visited. Friends is for other friends in this 365 community to see who is there and what events they go to, that you can go together, basically share events through this group. And then there's Market on the right bottom. That will be for all kinds of things, basically like a Craigslist option. You can drop things like you want to sell or buy or look for, and the idea was maybe for $1 an entry, you can just use it as like a flea market option. So on that is what the app would look like. And then the next is so the benefit of this app would be, it would be customized to your needs. So you can enter your name and address and where you live and what towns and cities you're interested in going to. And it can also be like a mile-wide or a 5-mile-wide range of cities and neighborhoods. You can also customize your interest in these categories, and then the app will show the events that are in these categories. The old way was usually when we looked in our research at calendars, you would put in a keyword and a date and then see what's coming up. That is basically user seeks event. The new way we would like to see is that the event seeks the users by being more present and visible. Also, if you don't have your phone, you can also have this content on a web-based application so that everything will show up online and you can find events quickly and easily. That is. Now I give it to Dan.
Yeah, so if we've been successful, you agree that this is a great product that fills a need. And so the idea is always the easy part. How do you actually get to success? And there's challenges or obstacles. How do you get the content on this app? How many users could this actually achieve? What would the expenses be? How much does it cost? Who funds it? And then what is the potential revenue for this type of this app? So first with the content, and there's really 4 ways that the content would go to the app that would make it comprehensive and centralized. First is a scraping functionality, and this basically, you could program the app to pull events from any organization that has a calendar. So Oak Park River Forest High School, the Village, the Park District, it would automatically pull those events and put them into the database for the app, and you would have probably 75% of your content from this just automated way of getting content. The next would there be a data app administrator that would enter key events in the community. So an example would be the micro brew review is done by an organization that might not have a calendar, but that's a key event for the community and you want it on the app. Host entry. So this is if a resident had a book club or a garage sale or a Saturday morning bike ride or any number of things that wouldn't be on the web, but they wanted to get people coming out to their event, and any resident could enter a listing into the app and it would appear in the relevant category. And then finally, paid entry. So this is more for-profit organizations. So imagine a restaurant has a Friday night appetizer special that they want people to know about, or a store is having a sidewalk sale, and they could actually pay for a listing that might have a premium listing status or featured listing, or a few different ways to go about that. So users, just as like kind of a baseline, we took 20% of Oak Park River Forest and Forest Park residents age 18 to 64. That gives us 10,000 users, which I think could be an attainable number. Frequent users, those are people, again, who are in the area and who might open this app 2 times a month on average. So that's over a course of a year, the app being opened 240,000 times by local engaged people. And then there's also infrequent users. So these are visitors, people who don't live in the Oak Park area but might engage Oak Park every once in a while. And I would say about 10,000 more. Little fact, over 50% of the credit card swipes in Oak Park are not from Oak Parkers. So there are people from outside the area that come into and use the Oak Park area. So in total, I think the app could be used over 250,000 times a year, which has a lot of value to event hosts. So how much does it cost? Not to get too far into this, but $140,000 to start it. So that's app development, marketing, and then that scraping functionality that I mentioned. And then about $110,000 per year to run. That's an app administrator, at maintenance, and then a sales component to get businesses to buy into the product. So funding, who's responsible for funding this? Is it an entrepreneur who thinks that this could make a lot of money? Is it the users? Is it the event hosts that will benefit from more people coming out to their events? Is it key stakeholders, a philanthropist? And I think for it to work best, you need a funding and revenue model that includes all of the above. You don't want it just to be an entrepreneur, you don't want it just to be users or hosts, it's got kind of has to be a blend to be most successful. So revenue, essentially you want a revenue model where revenue exceeds expenses. And that was a big question. Could you get revenue that exceeds the expenses? And there's a lot of different ways you could go about this, and a lot of it depends on how many users you have. But long story short, one model that we came up with that isn't going into too much of the details here because that's a wormhole that could take us hours. Revenue could exceed expenses by about $50,000 a year. Most of it would come from host fees, so that's again the paid advertisers that have a premium listing or featured content. Some of it would come from sponsors who are static sponsors throughout the course of the year, and then some from user fees, which would come from like the market component that would be kind of just a Craigslist of Oak Park. So in essence, you know, this is a kind of a very specific community initiative, but really it's more than that. We talked about inclusivity, being a welcoming community, and something like this goes a long way in making those things, those concepts, a greater reality. An engaged community is a more healthy community, and this really can go a long way to making that happen. And then also, what's exciting, as we talked about this, I've been talking about Oak Park specifically, and as you launch something, you do have to have a set geographic area. But what's exciting about this is there's really no limit to where it could be. As it grows, any neighboring community can start to buy into it, use it. The scraping functionality has no limit in terms of what organizations or that you cull events from. So it really, while it could start in this community, it really has potential to branch out to other communities. So that's all.